Well, I had an interesting walk this morning. I go around this, sometimes I go around this college, but sometimes I go around this park where there's a creek and a whole pile of birds. And there was this lady that was sitting there with her dog right in front of a lot of birds. Everybody is 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I think 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. People are like really friendly. Good morning. How are you? You don't see that later in the day, but you will see that as early in the morning. You cross paths with anybody. Usually they're real friendly early in the morning. So, anyways, I stopped and talked to this girl because I was like, oh, it's so great to start the day quiet and with nature. And she was like, yes, this is how I start my day every day. And so we just started sharing experiences. And it turns out that her husband is now being put into a home. He's lost his mind, um, very angry, very depressed. She's like, now I'm free. And um, she describes herself as a really, really loving person. And, but people that are really depressed don't know what love is. So she keeps marrying people 5 times. This is her fifth marriage. She was an older lady. And naturally, I know you can cure Alzheimer's. So it's like if her husband's in a home and she really, really did care and wanted him out, it is possible to cure him, but she doesn't want to because she wants to be free. So it's kind of an interesting conversation because has said throughout her whole life that people love being around her because she's so loving. They make her day. And she is. She's a really, really nice, loving, loving person. But being around people that love her love, she feels drained. So um, it was like, well, you can't give love out unless it's there. So if somebody's draining you, then you don't really have enough of it. And so her idea of being free is like, yeah, you need to focus and start loving you. Because when you start loving you, then when you do put it out, it won't feel so draining because it's endless. You feel more love the more love you give, not you are drained from giving love. You're resenting. You're not doing it from a source of pure love because you aren't pure love yet. And generally, it's because she loves everybody else more than she loves herself. So she will feel like she's being taken, advantage of, and that's what her block is. Is as soon as somebody's sucking her love, time to take the blows up because they're going to take advantage of me in some way, shape, or form. Um, so she probably doesn't know her boundaries. People pleasers usually deal with that. So I was telling her, oh, you are addicted to crack then. And she's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, your crack is happy. Your brain knows how to make happy. So you are stuck all the time on happy. Anytime there's a problem, go make that happy chemical because you'd rather spend your life being happy. And she's like, yeah, that's the way I've been all the time. And it's like, yeah, that's how you create Alzheimer's is you create a world of your own that nobody else can enter in. They can't relate to you. They can't understand you. You're just stuck on happy. And it's like, that's what my mother is. She has Alzheimer's. But it's really funny that I can sit and talk with my mother for hours if I'm in her world talking about the things she loves talking about. You can talk to her forever. She can make total logic sense. The second you talk to my mother about things that she doesn't want to talk about, that she is not in that world anymore and refuses to be in that abusive, negative world, two words won't be able to form together. She'll completely lose her mind. So it's like she is stuck in her crack. And if you use the same crack over and over again, you will lose your mind. So not only, I mean, drugs will fry your brain. How many people are on drugs? you know, and you are a drugstore. So you make the same chemical over and over and over again, you'll fry your brain one way or another. Um, if you're dealing with a lack of love, chances are you'll develop a heart problem. All of that is reversible and curable. Just Get yourself into the world of other people. Um, Face the evil that's in your life. Like, see the goodness in other people, but you got to start with self. So it's like, I could offer this girl some advice of, if you stayed with this guy and actually cured him, you would receive more love. Because as soon as this guy knows how to make chemicals that are pure love chemicals, he will reflect that back out. But she's not got pure love chemicals that she's reflecting out to him because she doesn't have love for self. So, in a way, her being free is going to be her way of finding out how to love herself, and then she'll be able to give it to whoever else needs it. So, it does, from my negative perspective, I could see her as the person that just didn't care enough. Otherwise she would have stayed and understood his world. But it's like she's got to understand her world first before she can understand somebody else's world, which is the same thing as me when she's says she loves all people. It's like, well, I used to hate all people. Why? Because everybody earning a living, everybody that is helping anybody, is all everybody sustaining everything that's wrong. We are in this matrix, and I gotta tell you, I'm still part of that. So while I can hate everybody else for what they're sustaining, it's like, so am I. So it's like, generally what you put out into the world is something you need to work on yourself. Um, that's where I find you can find the answers to everything. It's just ask somebody to give advice and see if they follow it. Everybody has their own advice. They're giving great advice every day out into the world. If everybody else just did things my way, the world would be perfect. But nobody's recognizing that the advice you're telling everybody else to do, you ain't following that advice yourself. And I see that in myself all the time. That's why I created this YouTube channel. Is like, anytime I go and cross paths with anybody and I see something wrong, in order for me to, I have this rule that don't make a complaint unless you have a solution. So um, I do see what's right. So I'm giving myself my own answers, because as soon as I see that, okay, those people in my life that I crossed paths with were just an illusion. It wasn't really real. It means nothing, you know, substantial, other than it was a reflection of me. So you can detach yourself from whoever you're in contact with, like that's sending you negative energy, and just realize that if you did have some negative energy there, that negative energy is within self. So then you can just walk away and say, okay, something about me was a little off. Even, going for that meeting I went to, and that guy was so negative and said that I couldn't get a job because I'm unemployed. It's like I got offended. I didn't have to get offended. I chose to get offended because that's something pretty offensive to say. But um, with love, I could understood that he just didn't understand what he was saying. That, yeah, to end up finding employment, one generally is unemployed. Um, I could have been calmer, more loving, and turned things around, but I didn't. So while I can say, hey, you should never say that to other people, it's like, why not? Why isn't everybody else free to say whatever it is they believe? Just sort of ask the question, is that really true? So that's what I'm kind of asking the world, is like, okay, if I'm putting something out there, I should have the right to say whatever I want to say. Just if I'm wrong, then somebody should ask, is that really true? And start the conversation to see what's true and what isn't true. So, but generally, that was a lesson for me in this conversation I had with this girl that if things don't pull together yet, it's because I'm not ready yet. You know, when I'm ready, something will show up instantly. And I know if I make some changes every single day, and I can see how I'm self-sabotaging myself, because I'll create what I believe I will create, and I believe I still can't pull this off. You know, so I'm going into the, yeah, if I know this information, I can pull it off. How I pull it off, I don't know, and that's the scary part. I'm also really, really scared that usually when I ask for something of the universe and it's so much bigger, I get scared to friggin' death of it, because it's like, oh my god, why do I keep asking for big shit? Because big shit always comes up and then I gotta handle it. And it's like, when you gotta handle it, it's like, oh my god. So it's not so much attracting the right people to create whatever it is that I want to create. It's a matter of, will I be scared to death of it when it shows up? And that I'm still scared to death of when it shows up. Um, can I believe in myself to handle that level of pressure? Because with that will come, well, there's a rule that it will be a lot of pressure. So those are the things that I'm looking at as I'm kind of analyzing, why am I preventing something from happening? And it's like, okay, there is the fear right there, is that when a whole pile of shit, when too much is asked of one person, it's going to be stressful. So the rule that I gotta prepare myself is to just know my boundaries, and know that if I move forward, it's got to be on my terms. And if I can't do too much, I'm going to say can't do that. The environment and the structure is not right for me to do that. And I know I thrive when I'm in a supportive environment. So it's up to me to make sure that if I move forward, it's under the condition that the whole entire environment has to be extremely supportive. Then I fly. If there's people that just want to fight, and um, then I know that it's not right, because there'll be some kind of fight within me still. And um, I'm not interested in a fight. So it's up to me to move forward, understand where my fears are. That is a massive fear. Can I do that? Can I make sure that people hear me when I say the environment has to be supportive? If you don't support something like this as we're working at this, you got to figure out why you're not in supportive. Clearly something's wrong about it. And if something's wrong about it, let's work through that issue without a negative argument about it. So, um, can I pull that off? Can I stand strong and see it when it comes, or get caught up in the problem? Because it's so freaking easy that when negative shows up, you just turn negative. And it is a matter of me catching myself being negative or feeling it. I'm hypersensitive, so I know it. How I respond as soon as I get into that negative state, I you can't think properly. So it is a stage of, as soon as you feel negative, you got to sort of meditate. You got to get yourself peaceful. You know, this is a good thing, just can't see it, but you have to really, really change the chemical makeup you have in that reaction to be able to know how to respond. So, and I guess in making this video, that's the rules I need to make as I move forward, and then I can believe in myself, and then I'll get rid of the hidden fear that's making this block. And at the end of the day, um, I feel really excited because, you know, the best part about a plan is the very beginning. You know, like it's great when a plan unfolds, but the excitement is the first stages in the creation of it. So that's all I'm at right now, is the creation of my future. It's coming. Peace out.